You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and co-hosting with me is DC in studio. How you doing, my friend?
Yo, good, man.
This is podcast 157, that's 157, on the Sports Coma, 157. And this is a very busy show. We got a number of topics to cover. We're going to cover the Saints, many topics, free agency, combine news, among other news. And also we have a few other news we're going to break it down. But anyway, before we get into any of that, I'd like to give a shout out to all those people out there that supported us during our journey as we enter the, what is it now, DC, the third season, beginning into the third season?
Second season? The NFL side.
Right, so it's been a beautiful journey. Met a lot of great sports fans along the way and hoping to meet a lot more. But this is podcast 157 on the Sports Coma, and this is our rundown brought to you by the poshlifestyle.com. That's www.theposh, life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E style.com. Not just a lifestyle website, but a lifestyle. They are the sellers of everything from water filters to organic products with deodorant, shampoos. They also are sellers of music. They're also all kind of great, wonderful, dozens of hundreds of items, too many to even much list here, but go see what it's all about at theposhlifestyle.com. With the Sports Coma, all lower caps, the Sports Coma in the coupon section during checkout, you can receive 10% discount on your final purchase. All that at theposhlifestyle.com, not just a website, but a lifestyle. Now let's get into the rundown on podcast 157. Today's show will be covering the Saints. We'll discuss some issues of Jimmy Graham, possible Saints reunion, of course.
Boy, didn't I say that, boy?
So we're gonna talk about that. Kurt-Coleman is the newest addition to the New Orleans Saints team. That's right, former Carolina Panther Kurt-Coleman joins
your welcome for Kurt-Coleman, bro.
So we're gonna get into that. We'll also talk about some of the Saints' other news and notes that we'll mention. And we'll also talk about the possible signing coming up real soon of drew-brees as it get close to that March the 14th really important deadline. We'll cover college basketball on the show as we talk about LSU, Tulane, and of course Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns making some noise. We'll give them some love as well in the college talk. And then toward the back end of the podcast, we'll continue to talk about boxing news. We'll get into Deontay Wilder's 10th round knockout of Ortiz, King Kong.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So he knocks out Ortiz. We'll recap that and talk about what's ahead for both those fighters, Deontay and of course Luis Ortiz. We'll preview the Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker bout, another heavyweight title fight set for the March the 31st. We'll preview that as well and give you our takes on that great fight. And we'll give you some information and preview perhaps on the Triple G and Canelo-Alvarez fight, as it has come out that Canelo has failed his drug test. So we might have an issue with that. We'll get into that later on as well. And that's going to be really interesting.
That happened in the undercard fight against Deontay Wilder. They had an issue with, I believe, what's that guy's name?
Darrell.
Didn't he have something in his urine and
I think it was the other guy that
balance
beat
something
Darrell.
out? Oh, it was the guy that beat Darrell?
The guy that beat Darrell. But
They still was able to work it out and fight, and Darrell got his ass handed to him.
that he did, he needs to retire as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into some of these Saints discussions, DC. The New Orleans Saints situation dealing with Drew Brees, of course. Drew Brees, that faithful deadline of March the 14th approaching. There's news out on the wire saying that the Saints are close to signing Drew Brees, bringing him back for his final contract in the NFL and making him a Saints for life. We already know what Drew brings to the team. There's no team without Drew, no Super Bowl team without Drew. But what does a 2018 contract? Looking at what the league just set that $177.2 million, what is that? The salary cap this year has been set. The Saints roughly have close to $31 million, $32 million in cap. How much of that cap will go to signing Drew Brees? Can we get some Lumonomics here? We'll be able to free up some of that money so we could chase other commodities. What's your thinking on that?
I think it's tough, man. They got a lot of things that need to be weighed out, and we got to have a little luck. You're looking at Drew Brees, who usually counts as $20 million against the cap. I don't see how that's gonna change. I don't know what type of hometown discount we gonna get. He sounds like he want to be here, so that's up in the air. You got Nick Fairley, who has an arbitration case where we're fighting for about $7 million from him. So you got to see what that looks like.
When is that arbitration case set for?
I don't have a date on the actual arbitration case. I don't even know if it has a date yet officially, but I would imagine it has to be done before the season starts. I don't know if Nick Fairley still wants to play or not. They're trying to work something out. So you got all that pretty much up in the air, man. You got a few dollars we could free up from Kobe Fleener if we cut him by June 1st. You also have Cameron Jordan. I don't know. We could see maybe a contract deal worked out with him, and that could save us some money this year.
They're definitely gonna start reworking.
You got
and
Mark Ingram too.
So.
You got Mark Ingram, who could also see a new contract get handed to him. Could save us a few dollars this year. So you just got a lot of things up in the air.
Work something from Taron Armstead, some of that $10 million base salary.
You got him. You got a lot of things. So we'll see, man. The Lumonomics at its finest. He gonna have to work some magic, but we only have a few holes to fill. We have maybe about 5 or 6 holes in the team that we need to fill.
Let's look at it like this, because the Saints, of course, they're more apt. I think this is a strategy that they're definitely going to use this year. They're going to convert some of these players' contract into a signing bonus like they've done in prior years. And I think Taron Armstead definitely could be one of those guys. Of course, Cameron Jordan, $8.4 million base salary. Then you got Taron Armstead's $10.2 base salary. Maybe we can work some of that, whittle that down, and get maybe another $8 to $9, maybe $10 million, and rework the money so we can be able to add some of these players to come in here to help out. Because of course, that would definitely be a necessary thing. If you look at, we speaking of Drew Brees, but the calculated market value of Drew Brees stands around $25 million. Now, even if he says, I'm going to give you a deal, which I'm not knowing Drew Brees to ever do something like that. He wants all of his money. He doesn't do what Tom Brady does, which is take severely less money to make his team competitive so they can go after and build around. Drew wants all of his money. $25 million calculated money market for Drew Brees. He might say, well, just give me 20. Y'all keep the 10 from the end and see what you can do on that. And hopefully that's not the case. Some kind of way we can get some extra money and move around and make some more moves. Outside of that, let's move on to the next topic. We have a new Saint on the team, and his name is Kurt-Coleman. Now, Kurt-Coleman, you're probably familiar with Kurt-Coleman, former safety of the Carolina Panthers, and you're probably familiar with the fact that we have a lot of former Carolina Panthers on this team.
It's a good Klein, team to pick off defensive players from.
Right, A.J. Klein, Ted Ginn Jr., and the like. So you have a few guys that come over from Carolina that's making serious impacts on the season.
They changed the offensive coordinator because we figured that out. So they gonna change the defensive coordinator now?
Well,
get all their defensive
I don't
players.
think so. I don't think that they're gonna probably ride with him. But the offensive coordinator that they got rid of, Shula, and brought in North Turner. That was the guy that I couldn't remember from the previous show.
North Turner is going to work miracles with that little running back. So we're going to have to watch out for McCaffrey next year.
Right.
North Turner is excellent with running backs.
So Kurt-Coleman, he's a new Saint. He comes over from Carolina Panthers, latest defensive acquisition from Carolina. Remember, it was A.J. Klein. Now it's Kurt-Coleman. Hopefully, we can probably get a guy like Starler Tulane. Of course, we'll talk about that later on. But Kurt-Coleman signs a 3-year deal worth $18 million to come in and play. The Saints was officially it exits Vaccaro out of the door. We of course said in the prior podcast that Vaccaro was out of here. He's gonna go get a payday. The Saints ceremoniously issue him, say, you know what, peace out. Kurt-Coleman is his replacement. 3 years, $18 million. What could you tell us about Kurt-Coleman, DC?
I think Kurt-Coleman, he's a good player. Or what you would get is slightly above average. I mean, first 2 years.
He's 29 years old now.
He's 29 years old.
Signed to 31.
He's in his prime. His first 2 years.
$6 million a season.
His first 2 years with Carolina, he had 11 interceptions in those first 2 years, which is pretty amazing. If we could get 5 or 6 out of him, I say money well spent. He can come in the box. He can also cover deep. I've seen him get burned before. He's not great. I think he's a good player to have, and I think he probably could be an upgrade over Kenny Vaccaro.
Okay. He's 29 years of age. He's been in the league for 8 years, and guess what? He's from Ohio State. So we got another Buckeye in the building. And what's intriguing about Kurt-Coleman as well is he's a 7th-round pick. Get that. He's a 7th-round pick, 244th overall in the 2010 draft, and worked his way as a starter. So that means that this guy is a hard worker to come from that far and make it in league when most 7th-round draft picks don't make it.
I'm just not sold on the money, and I'm kind of wondering what his position is exactly and how it will affect either Marcus Williams or Von Bell. Because
I don't think so. I don't think it will affect either because they run three safety. It
has to affect someone, Q.
Maybe the nickelback, maybe P.J. Williams.
Von Bell.
Which if that's the case, then that's a good affection.
Von Bell is usually the guy that's in the box. We don't see him all kind of crazy in pass coverage. I mean, he's out there, but we know what he is. He's a thumper. He come lay the wood.
Well, that's
he can cover. He's not horrible in coverage, but I think Kurt-Coleman is probably a better cover corner than Von Bell.
So that's what I'm about to ask you.
Does that switch his position and allow him to be the third
safety
corner?
But what I'm saying, safety. So what I'm saying is, what his specialty in Carolina was what?
He was all around safety.
All right. So if the Saints bringing Kurt-Coleman in,
he was a starting safety. He wasn't coming off the bench
but he was he's a guy that can see the field. Right. He's a guy that can line the young guys up, teach them how to play the safety position right.
You don't want that every play when you got 2 extremely young safeties back there?
If
Kurt-Coleman was back there with the Marcus Williams play, does that play happen?
No, it happens. It doesn't happen. Kurt-Coleman makes the tackle.
Make your mind up, bro.
Because it messed me up. Kurt-Coleman, if he was back there instead of Marcus Williams, the Saints would have been playing Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. No doubt about it.
The format I was saying all along with us drafting another safety or someone else in the secondary, which I disagree with because we have a lot of youth in the secondary, which is a good thing, but you need a veteran back there who's seen it all, seen most of the stuff before, don't easily fall for the tricks. We got a lot of talent with the youth, but we don't have a lot of wisdom.
Could this be a Darren Sharper type signing without all the foolishness?
I don't think so.
Would he have the same impact that Darren Sharper had?
Darren Sharper, we know what Darren Sharper was when we was getting him. Everybody watched Darren Sharper. Well, I did. I watched Darren Sharper in Green Bay, and I watched him in Minnesota. I knew what Darren Sharper was when we were getting him. Kurt-Coleman ain't no prolific multiple-time Pro Bowl. Darren Sharper was there before he came in, so I can't throw that out there easily. I was more sold on Marcus Williams last year than Kurt-Coleman before it's being Darren Sharper. You see, he came up with like 4 or 5 picks.
All right, well, I mean, that's the point. DC, we got to leave it at that. We're coming to our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll finish talking about the rest of our Saints news and notes. And also we'll get into a little college basketball, and we'll also talk a little boxing as well. All that in this podcast on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guy. We'll be back.
Yeah.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE, style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Valley. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Wow, what a huge honor it is to be named NBA 2K18 Legend Edition cover athlete. I really wouldn't be here without the guidance, love, and support of my mom and dad. Also, I'd like to thank my coaches, both college and professional. But most of all, I'd like to thank Kobe Bryant. He was an NBA 2K Legend cover athlete first. He's so awesome and handsome and has really nice natural teeth. Wait, what? I'll be looking at his teeth. This ain't over, Kobe. Payback's gonna be fun.
Let me tell you about a news site that carries the news that you would want to know. News that's not the same as the rest of lamestream media, but a site that lets you know about the most important news on health, economics, tech, entertainment, science, food, sports, world news, positive living, paradigm shift, and a lot more. Go to theposhreportonline.co. That's right, theposhreportonline.co. Learn more. And remember, challenge everything.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're talking Saints in this segment of the show. We covered Kurt-Coleman and a few other topics on the other side of the break. This side of the break, we're going to be talking about the possible acquisition of Jimmy Graham. Of course, a lot of people in Saints Nation, they are apt to say, you know what, how about bringing Jimmy Graham back because we need help. You know, we did pretty bad as far as the tight end position went last year, and we were dead last in receiving yards from the tight end position. And that's very oddity for the New Orleans Saints offense, being that we're usually one of the top leaders in such a category. Being that we are top 3 offense DC, not getting production from the tight end like we're accustomed to, that's really, really odd to steal. That's really shows the great depth of how really excellent Drew-Brees and the rest of the coaches are, and the talent around them to be able to still put up top 3, top 5 offensive numbers every year, despite the fact the tight end position wasn't there. But looking at that, with that being said, and we talked about the contributions, the market set Drew-Brees for $25 million, possibly. We turn around and we look back and we say, well, what if Drew takes a 20 or 18, 19, $20 million? They don't leave too much for the Saints, despite the fact they might rework. They most certainly will rework at least 3 or 4 candidates to free up at least another $8 to $10 million. So,
like I said, the $7 million from
that's another
Nick
thing.
Fairley,
Nick Fairley,
Zach
Streif,
Fleener release. Oh, and also the $2.2 million from Zach Streif.
Right. So we have a few more dollars.
Hidden money,
right? That's gonna pop up there. It might be anywhere between $8 to $12 million maybe a little bit more than that.
Hitting money.
Well, maybe
you
15
still have
million.
the option to rework some contracts too.
Right. So, you know, with that said,
and we got a lot of rookies, a lot of guys that are very good, not playing for a lot of money right now. So you want to capitalize on this window you got.
Yeah, like next 3 years or so. Let's talk about that now. With the salary set at 177. And the Saints, roughly, if you average it off currently, right now, before reworking the deals, they're at $31 million. Jimmy Graham, possibility. A lot of people want to see it happen. Does it happen in your opinion?
I would like to see it happen, but I don't think it happens. And here's why. Give me one Saints player other than, maybe Raphael Bush that left and came back. Prominent name. We usually don't do that. When we let a guy of the caliber of Jimmy Graham go, we usually don't get those guys back. If Jimmy Graham does come back, I think he would have to take a sizable discount from what he's used to getting from us. We're not going to bring Jimmy Graham back at $12 million a year. So if you get Jimmy Graham similar to this Kurt-Coleman contract, or maybe a Kobe Fleener type deal with the money we were paying him, $31 million over 4 years or something like that it was. With Kobe Fleener, somewhere around there. A deal like that, then yeah, we possibly could get Jimmy Graham, but no one's asking this question. Jimmy Graham may not want to come to New Orleans. Did anybody think about that? Does he really want to come back? What if we want him back and he don't want to come back? Jimmy Graham like money, man. Airplanes ain't cheap. Jimmy Graham like to fly airplanes and stuff.
Just to mention what you're saying about the Kobe Fleener deal, according to Sportrack.com, it's a 5-year deal at $36 million, at $8 million signing bonus, $7.2 million annual salary.
At that price, I mean, it sounds big, but when you think about it, $36 million over 5 years, it's not a lot of money.
His base salary jumps to 6.3. It was 5.8 last year. This year it jumps to 6.3. So it goes up. So we also mentioned that he could be a cap casualty as well.
That boy gone, man.
All right.
He out of here.
All right. So, Kobe Fleener's out and Jimmy Graham's is a possibility. But
I wouldn't have a problem with them paying Kobe Fleener money to Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham would be worth that.
No doubt about it.
But to give him a Gronk contract, which he probably is going to want,
it's not going to happen.
Which is around $60 million, 50-something million. Hell no, man. We like you, Jimmy. We had some great years here, but you can keep on marching. I'm sure some idiots will give you that type of money, but it won't be the Saints.
Right. So let's move into some of the combine news, DC. Looking at some of the combine news here, a couple of things came out through the combine. I was watching a lot of tape from a lot of the guys down there. Shaquille Griffin's brother is a guy that really
story yesterday, man.
Right, he really is chiming right now. Of course, from the quarterback standpoint, being that drew-brees is up in years, you're looking at the fact that you have they need a replacement. And I mean,
Mayfield is dropping in a lot of the predictions as well after his combine, and you know how high I'm pretty sure Sean Payton is on Baker Mayfield.
He is high on him. It was saying that the former Heisman Trophy winner is met with the Saints. And the Saints had sat down at the combine and talked to him, and they got a potential need. They definitely have a need for a quarterback to groom behind Drew Brees, whether this would be a 2 or 3 year contract. But there's definitely now is the time for them to get a quarterback to sit behind Drew Brees in this position. Now, of course, there are phone interviews with some of the tight end prospects. So the Saints showing you they're looking at some of the top tight ends. They met with a few DBs. They met with a few other guys as well. So looking at some of these other guys, what would be an intriguing prospect in terms of the Saints possibly looking at with that first round pick? I think it's 27th overall. The Saints have an opportunity to kind of make a move there, DC. In your opinion, I know we ain't get to our mock draft show yet, but before we get into any of that, we know they don't have a second round draft pick. They have a first, a third, a fourth, 2 5s, 2 6s, and a 7 this year in the draft. What do the Saints do with that 27th overall pick, in your opinion?
There's a lot of possibilities, and I honestly believe it depends on the way the draft goes. Like let's say for instance a guy like Raquel Smith, if he falls all the way, which I don't see him doing that, the Saints definitely draft him. A lot of people predicting us to take this tight end, a couple of these tight ends out here. I've never known the Saints to draft a tight end in the first round, and that's not the most pressing need on our team. So I think even if they have a real good tight end there, I don't think they do that because we can get around the tight end issue. I mean, look what we did last year with relatively very little from the tight end position.
Right, tight end by group, by committee.
So I definitely think unless one of these high-profile quarterbacks fall that low, we're going to draft a linebacker. If we don't draft a linebacker, a guy like Arden Key or Trey Edmonds, we know Chubb ain't falling that far. Bradley Chubb is not falling that far. But a guy like Arden Key or Trey Edmonds, if they fall there, I think that could also be a possibility because you could possibly serve two needs. If they don't become, I guess, the pass rusher you would like them to be, those are two guys that you possibly could transition into a linebacker as well. So I see him doing something like that. It's definitely going to be a defensive pick, minus maybe the quarterback situation. My whole thing about Lamar Jackson, but Baker Mayfield is also dropping as well. So if Baker Mayfield's there at 27, I don't care who out there. I think they draft Baker Mayfield.
Well, I mean, I got your sentiment on Lamar Jackson. We had quite fun the last Sports Coma episode talking about Lamar Jackson.
Guess who they have picking Lamar Jackson in one of the mock drafts?
I've seen it. One ESPN mocks had Lamar Jackson at 27. I disagree with that.
And not just that. I wasn't even going there. I already threw that out there. If he don't go to the Saints, they have Jacksonville Jaguars taking him. A lot of the mock drafts have that.
That's silly.
Lamar Jackson is not falling out.
That's silly, man.
Round.
That's silly.
Why is it silly?
That's silly. You got.
Why would that be silly?
They have other needs, and then
what? What need do they have?
This is the Sports Coma for the Saints. Although we don't want to talk about Jackson, let them get their own damn Sports Coma.
I know, but you're not making sense, my man. I appreciate the effort you put into
you just gave $50 million
looking at the Saints.
Okay, just to show that.
But you got a guy that can sit for 2 years or so while you bring him up, man.
You just gave Blake Bortles $50 million.
They only signed him for 3 years.
You have issues at wide receiver.
They don't have that many issues.
You have issues, yes, they do.
They got issues at quarterback.
Yes, they do. They have issues at wide receiver.
They got Hearns still there. They can bring back Robinson.
Issues
and the other guy, Marquise Lee, they're going to let walk because they have Cole.
Other issues. I guarantee you that this team will not take a quarterback.
We'll see, Q.
That's just what I'm saying. Now, as far as
if you had your quarterback for the future, I think you would have signed him for more than 3 years.
I just don't see it, man. I just don't know if the Saints.
You just don't like Lamar Jackson.
No, I like Lamar Jackson. I'm just not on his promotion team like you are. All I'm saying is that Lamar Jackson is a fantastic player. I think he is every bit of the talent of Michael Vick. He has the better accuracy. But with guys like that, when they come out, they always try to hit them with the wide receiver label, which is he had to come out and say, listen, if you're not going to take me as a quarterback, then don't take me. And a lot of these teams don't see Lamar Jackson as a first-round quarterback. That's just some of the sentiment on that I've been seeing around the league.
They were saying the same thing about Deshaun Watson last year,
and
they still drafted him.
That's different. That Shea Watson was definitely playing at a high level. You could not deny him that.
Okay, how he was playing at a high level and Lamar Jackson won the Heisman over him?
Listen,
and they faced head to head, and he lost because one of his receivers dropped the ball.
It speaks a lot to you when you had a guy where you can beat a team like Alabama. You played him twice and then showed him up the second time you played in the manner that he did it. Hold on, listen to me.
He Lamar, did great, man.
Now, these things vary from player to player.
But if you put Lamar Jackson on Clemson, you mean to tell me Lamar Jackson
this won't get settled.
He couldn't do the same thing?
The Saints don't.
Clemson was a good team, too.
Most of these teams do not see Lamar Jackson as a first-round talent. Second round, they do. Not to downplay him. I see him as a first-round talent. But I think most teams don't. That's what it comes
I've never seen a Heisman winning quarterback not go in the first round, man.
We're not going to settle this debate.
Point blank period.
Danny Waffle didn't go in the first round. He went in the fourth round. Remember that? So that was your example. That'll shut you down for a minute.
In the recent 2000s.
Oh, they're going to change it. Anyway, that'll do it for this. This will do it for this this segment. We're about to go into our break. When we come back, we'll talk a little college basketball.
This will never end the discussion.
And also, we'll talk about boxing. Stay tuned.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, ggg-vs-alvarez. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, ggg-vs-alvarez. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free entertainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Check out the Crown They Ass World podcast with three kings covering all the news and issues that affect you and the ones you care about. Only on the PRO Media Network.
Hello, New Orleans. You're listening to the Sports Coma, your new #1 podcast on everything Saints, Pelicans, and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and the guys.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. The guy is DC and the guy is insane. But anyway,
you insane.
Let's
dude.
look at it like
about
this.
Lamar Jackson ain't going in the first round.
Let's look at it like
but
this.
Let's move on.
Yes, let's move on. I'm gonna just give you a little jab right quick to let DC know that I'll tell you what.
I'm blocking that.
I'm gonna give DC some credit. DC did say Jacksonville, correct? And Jacksonville,
if we don't draft him,
at the bottom of the first round, that's possible because many people late first round, I say second round and beyond, because it's just what it is. A guy like Josh Allen played at a small time college, had his stats are similar to, or probably a little in the area where Mitch Trubisky was. People didn't see Mitch Trubisky as a top 10 draft pick.
Mitch Trubisky was a good quarterback in my opinion after watching him last year, but he wasn't better than Deshaun Watson.
Now that's
ain't even in the same stratosphere.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Same thing with
the
Lamar
general
Jackson,
managers
man.
have an idea of who they want as a quarterback, and a big guy like Josh Allen. Big guy like Allen, big guy like Rosen and Bernard. Those are big quarterbacks with big arms.
Osweiler was big as hell, and what did he turn into?
So was Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, and a lot of guys that are big and don't do nothing.
But see, that fits the
Who
prototype.
can play football, man?
That's not what they're looking at in whole, because Paxton Lynch was a guy that they
you have teams that are looking at that, like the Houston Texans was a team
and
that
you have to be
they knew what Deshaun Watson was.
You have to be a fantastic
and
quarterback.
They went and got him.
If you're a little guy like Mayfield to get in the pub. So I mean, you can't like a Manziel was. You have to be an outstanding little guy.
And they was projecting him the same type of projections they have on Lamar Jackson. 3rd round, maybe a high second round pick and all that. He went in the 16th.
I will bend a little and say late first round. What is late, Q? 28 and out is what I'm going to say.
27th.
28 and out. The Saints,
27th
I just don't see that. I just don't feel it in my soul that the Saints going to take Lamar Jackson. They need a pass rusher.
You have to take a quarterback at some point.
They need a pass rusher to finally complement Cam. They need a linebacker that can finally play that middle linebacker spot. And if they don't get a cornerback, if Drew eats up a lot of the cap, they could possibly be looking at a cornerback. I just don't see them going over those pressing needs.
They're not drafting
right away
a cornerback. Our secondary is already too young, man. We're going to sign a cornerback. We don't need another young secondary player.
What kind of money?
They just showed you that. They just showed you that with Coma.
Anyway, let's move on.
Nah, you ain't gonna say. I got to say my stuff. You ain't gonna say that. Move on.
To move on.
I was trying to move on before you gave your segment.
Look,
but
bro, moveon.org, bro. You ever heard of that?
But anyway, like I was saying, man, if he's there, the Saints is a possibility they could take him. They would take Baker Mayfield. I don't see what makes him any different, man. It's two similar players with a different skill set.
It's possible. It's also possible the Saints draft a punter with the first round pick. Anything's possible, brother. Let's move on.
You know that ain't gonna happen. We got Thomas Morris there.
It's a possibility.
Baby. Thomas Morris there gonna be kicking here forever.
Anything's possible, brother.
Forever. But Drew Brees.
I'll tell you what's not possible. The Saints drafting you with the first round draft pick.
Well, I ain't in the draft, so that ain't gonna happen.
All right.
But Drew Brees ain't gonna be here forever, man, and we got to start preparing for the future. And the Saints know that, so they could take a quarterback this year, dude. It ain't that crazy.
All right, he could, but not
we
in the
have
first
a good
round.
team. We don't have a lot of holes.
Definitely
they
might
could
take a quarterback, but not in the first round. Thank you, DC. Let's move into some basketball talk.
Unless you
want
get
the
him in
last
first
word?
round.
Last word, DC. Go ahead.
I just said it.
All right, there you go. We just want the last word.
Last word.
All right, LSU. Let's move it. Let's talk a little basketball now, DC. Let's give a little love to our basketball teams, college basketball, that is. The LSU Tigers are now 17-13, 8-10 in conference play. Of course, they finished the year 17-13. They were able to knock off a very good Mississippi State club at the last game of the season, 78-57 in blowout fashion. The tournament is set to happen on the 8th of this I think that's Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, Thursday. So it's set to go Thursday. The tournament's set to set up in Thursday in I think it's going to be in St. Louis. So that's going to be interesting set to be in St. Louis, Missouri on between March the 7th and the 11th. So the tournament, SEC tournament, opens up. The Tigers are set to match up in
Mississippi State
with Mississippi State there. So the Tigers, they're going to have a difficulty with this Mississippi State club, DC. They played Mississippi State in the season before, and they had difficulties. Where they blew them out the last game of the season, they get set to meet with them this time around. As we know, it's difficult to beat teams like that twice, and they just faced up against this team. Mississippi State 9-9 in conference play, and they're 21-10 on the season.
They actually just beat Mississippi State.
They blew them out 78-57. So what happens? What's your prediction on this game? You know, Tremont Waters and the rest of those guys are fantastic. But what's going to happen?
I think the adrenaline kicks in, man, and
probably
LSU
can make
goes
a run here.
Yeah, I think the adrenaline definitely kicks in, and they go on and beat Mississippi State. It's a team they beat already. You know how you feel with a familiar opponent that you played and you've already dominated, and they're excited about being in the tournament. Well, I mean, when's the last time LSU really had a shot? You know, starting the year, no one expected them to be where they're at. They're playing with house money right now. LSU is a real dangerous team, man. They have an amazing coach. They make great adjustments. Tremont Waters is outstanding. So
yeah, Diop Reed, don't forget him either.
Okay, him as well. But I see them taking this, man. I don't see them going out as soon as they get in like that. They got too much momentum going. And too much happiness and excitement right now, man. It's exciting to be an LSU basketball fan at the moment right now.
Well, you're absolutely right, DC. And we take a look at what they were able to do. And I'm just astounded. Tremont Waters is an excellent freshman, averaging 15 points a game, about 6 assists per game. He was outstanding during the season. Diop Reed, the senior in his final year, averaging 12 points a game. Too. So we'll hopefully, and then that's Skylar Mays. Now, let's not forget Skylar and Aaron Epps. Those guys are big time for LSU too. As Will Wade tries to guide this team through the tournament. And I would say, so you obviously picked LSU here, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's why I'll go with LSU. I think LSU will do a pretty damn good job of winning this contest as well. Going forward, how deep can LSU get right here, DC? What's your thinking on it? You think this team could make a possible run?
I think they can make an appearance
in the SEC
at
tournament.
Best case scenario. I think they can get to the Sweet 16, man.
Are you kidding me?
Best case scenario.
Okay, I mean, what is your?
That's all kind of magic and fireworks and everything.
I'm about to try to tell you because they have a lot of really difficult
worst case
teams
scenario. Worst case scenario, they don't make it out of the SEC tournament
because
they get close to the championship game and don't make it out of the SEC tournament.
It's already bracketed out. LSU is the 10th seed in this tournament.
Right.
They lose this. They beat Mississippi State, which a lot of people do think they could beat Mississippi State because they dominated them the last game of the season. They face off against Tennessee next. So, that's going to be a really difficult contest because Tennessee is pretty tough.
Again, I think it's a lot to be said for a team. And I mean, who's really talking about LSU on a national level? And who really expects anything out of LSU? So I think just the fact they're not playing with a lot of added pressure, all they got to do is go out there and do what they've been doing and just ball, man. And the sky's the limit for them based on them not having any expectations, really. Like, what are you expecting out of them? We didn't expect them to be in the tournament at all.
I expect
just the SEC tournament.
I expect them to definitely beat Mississippi State, but when it come down to it, I think that's going to stop when they meet Tennessee. Bottom line, Tennessee is tied with first in the SEC conference along with Auburn. They're 23-7, 13-5, and they are tied with number one for a portion of the crown.
I don't see any team this year in college basketball that's just dominant and blowing me away, man. I think everybody can be beat this year. So I understand what their record is, but we'll see when they play if LSU makes it past Mississippi State. Because there's no team really blowing anybody away. I think this is going to be one of the weird tournaments where everybody's going to be excited. You're going to see a lot of the teams that you didn't think was going to make it there in the real tournament. And LSU could be one of those.
All right, well, let's move past that. Let's talk about Tulane now, man. And Tulane Green Wave finished this year 14 of 16, 5 of 13 in conference. That's not too good. But they are lined up to take on the Temple Owls, who are 16 and 14. On the 8th in the Aaron's American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship in the first round. DC, the Green Wave averaging 73 points a game while giving up 74 points a game. Then you have Temple coming in averaging 70 a game, giving up 70. They're both on 2-game losing streaks. What a way to get into the tournament, as Tulane did lose to Cincinnati 78-49, then USF 60-51. Then Temple also lost 2 in a row. What happens here? Can a Tulane right the ship and get a first-round victory over the Temple Owls? What's your opinion on that?
At this point with Tulane, I really don't know, man. They're just like the football team to me, man.
They're an enigma, huh?
Right. You don't know what Tulane's gonna do. When they're feeling the wave, they be on it, man. But when they get washed out and that tide is low. You don't know what Tulane gonna give you, but I do like Melvin Frazier. He's an amazing basketball player that I knew about for a while coming out of high school. Went to my high school, Higgins, y'all, yeah. But I don't know, man. Melvin Frazier would have to take it to the next level, in my opinion, for Tulane to be able to make some noise. But it's possible they can go in there and beat their opponent this go round. Temple's coming off a 2-game losing streak. They coming off a 2-game losing streak. Yeah, both of y'all can't be losers. So
right, somebody got to win.
Right, it's possible they can win this game, but I don't have a lot of faith in them moving forward. They're too inconsistent and up and down. They've shown flashes. Okay, Tulane getting it together, and then they fall on their face right after that. So
their top players, you mentioned Melvin Frazier. He's a top dog over there, averaging about 16 points a game, doing pretty good. Cameron Reynolds is the other man. He averages 15 points a game. Then there are 3 players that's averaging 10, and Sehek, Embo, and Carnish, all averaging around 10 points a game. So it'd be interesting to see if Coach Dunleavy can make it happen for Tulane. It'd be an interesting storyboard and maybe a springboard into future endeavors for the Green Wave basketball. Man, we'll see about that as well. Now, let's go into the Ragin' Cajuns. We're about to go into our first break right here. But let's talk about the Ragin' Cajuns right quick, DC. 26-5, 16-2 in conference play. They've dominated the Sun Belt standings. They for number one in the rankings, and then they are to be announced in their tournament as well, and that they'll be playing out of the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. So that'll be interesting to see if they can get the job done. But you know what? They lost the last game in overtime to UL Lamar. This is an interesting team, nonetheless, a very powerful team. Nobody really been given the Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns any love this season,
Right.
But we're about to go into our first break. When we come,
He's at 26-5.
no, you can't. When we gonna come back, we're gonna give the Ragin' Cajuns some love on the Sports Coma. We're gonna get into it and break it down and see about our best college basketball team in the state, the Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns. Big ups to them, 26-5. We'll talk about them a little bit and boxing news on the other side of this break. You're listening to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guy. Stay with us.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Argue, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Best funny sports podcast in the country.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We talk college basketball, man. We're well-rounded in this show. We talk football, we talk basketball, we talk boxing, man. We are the Sports Coma. And take a look at this. In this segment, we're going to talk about a little everything. We're going to talk about the college and we're going to peruse into some boxing as well. But the Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns, man, a lot of people across the state, probably in northern Louisiana, probably know about me. In certain areas of Louisiana know about the Cajuns. But the Cajuns, man, are kicking ass this year. 26-5, first in the Sun Belt, behind a lot of the stellar player Frank Bartlett. He's played well, 17 points a game. And then you have Gant, who's averaging almost 15 points a game. Then you got a couple of 10-point scores, almost 11-point scorer in Bryce Washington and Jonathan Stove. But these guys are terrific. They play as a good team. 26-5 on the season. They are going to be entering the Sun Belt championship coming up also. And this is going to be interesting because DC, if you look at it, because they're the top team in the Sun Belt, they're obviously going to be on a bye. So whoever they match up with, either Coastal Carolina or Texas State, they're going to probably end up kicking their butts on the way to playing Texas Arlington and the rest of those guys. But what's your perception on the Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns on their great season? What's happening with that?
I think they go ahead and take this tournament, man. I mean, the Ragin-Cajuns been
just take the tournament.
They've been tearing through these teams all year, man. They only got 5 losses. They have a weak division, in my opinion, but they've been dominating it. So I see them going ahead and finishing this tournament and getting to the real dance, man. This could also be another one of them Cinderella teams. The Ragin-Cajuns has played outstanding all year, led by their senior Battier. He's pretty good, and you also got Grant, who's a junior. He's pretty good as well. And this is a very good team with players scattered all around, man. They do it as a complete team. Everybody contributes, and I like their style. They're relatively unknown, even in Louisiana. Nobody's really talking about them. Ragin'-Cajuns isn't a popular college out here, but I like what I'm seeing from this basketball team this year, and I think they go ahead and take this tournament, man. They've been riding the Ragin'-Cajun wave all year.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm talking about.
They tear through them like the Tigers supposed to.
Right. So there we go. So that is the Ragin'-Cajuns. I think they'll take the tournament too, man. I think they're just vastly superior than anybody in the Sun Belt. It's been proven all year long. Although they have a few losses, a few letdowns, but they seem like a focused team. And big love, big ups, and everything to the Louisiana-Ragin-Cajuns from the Sports Coma. Big ups on a really great season. The season not done. We're looking at you guys to be, I would say they're the best college basketball team in Louisiana, man. Bottom line, and I think they'll have a decent run in the tournament. Get a couple of wins in the tournament, man. Hopefully we can have a nice run, a deep tournament run. With this team, man. I don't know about LSU. I don't think LSU going to come out the SEC, to be honest with you. I think they luck stops with Tennessee and Tulane. Tulane could very well lose that game against Temple and be ousted right there and then. So I think our best chance at any kind of chance in the NCAA tournament is a team like Louisiana, the Ragin'-Cajuns. So big ups to the Ragin'-Cajun bunch. Okay, let's move out of our college basketball talk, DC, for our final segment. Let's talk a little boxing. We might have a little over time period as well to be able to cover some of the rest of our boxing news and events.
You should have just agreed with me on Lamar Jackson.
Let's talk about the Deontay Wilder versus Louis-Ortiz bout that just happened. Very interesting bout. We watched the game. The boxing, the match, and Deontay Wilder comes out with his bronze bomber gear. Louis Ortiz comes out with his shirt, his Bane shirt. I will break you. I must break you shirt.
Oh,
so
you sound like somebody who can't talk.
Well, he comes out and he gets broken. He gets beat up and knocked out, beat down, punched down. Eventually in the second round, very good fight. 10-round battle.
Lack of effort, though.
Two undefeated, two really awesome undefeated fighters going at it. Of course, Deontay trying to prove to people that he is the real deal. Beating Louis Ortiz, does he make that point?
Yeah. I don't see how he doesn't. Nobody in boxing really wanted to fight Louis Ortiz. A lot of people who knew the sport very well all was saying, Deontay Wilder, what are you doing? Why do you take this fight? You could have got the Anthony Joshua fight. You don't have to fight Ortiz. Nobody wanted to fight him. And Deontay Wilder always referred to him as the most technical fighter in their division. And I don't think he's wrong. Louis Ortiz showed a lot, and Deontay Wilder could have easily lost that fight if he didn't rally back from being stunned sometimes by Ortiz, and he put him on his ass, man, and he deserved to be a champion. Anybody who's talking about Deontay Wilder is overrated, he doesn't deserve it, he didn't fight anybody, please go watch this Louis Ortiz fight, because Ortiz was a very technical professional fighter, had a big left hand, throws amazing combinations, and he caught Deontay Wilder with a lot of shots. Couldn't put him down, man. And he could not take that right hand from Wilder, just like everybody else who went up against him. So I think Deontay Wilder's the real deal. And this fight puts a lot on Anthony Joshua, and he has to make very short work of Parker to be impressive and to pass up on Deontay Wilder if he wants to. If not, the world is going to be basically campaigning for the Anthony Joshua-Deontay Wilder fight after this.
Absolutely, DC, and that was perfectly said, because when it comes down to it, man, all I could say is that watching this fight, I was amped. Because Deontay Wilder...
It's exciting, man.
Deontay Wilder matched up against King Kong Ortiz, and King Kong Ortiz ain't no buster. He ain't no bum. He ain't no chump. This guy was 28-0, 24 knockouts coming into this fight.
Never had a loss.
He never was knocked down. He's a tremendous heavyweight. He's a very scary dude in the ring. A lot of the fighters ran around away from him, as Deontay Wilder said in his post-fight, which you can go on the Sports Coma, go on the PRO Media Network YouTube page, where you can see a lot of our YouTube presentations, video reports, and also podcasts. You just find us on the PRO Media Network on YouTube, and you can watch the highlights of the Deontay Wilder matchup. What it did do was solidify his standing in the heavyweight division and prove to people that this man wasn't just some one-punch wonder, that he can actually box. Remember, he came into this fight at 214. Ortiz was 240 pounds, 241 to be precise. Now, let's listen to another big heavyweight title of heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis said about Deontay Wilder via text, a tweet. He said, "This fight will do for Wilder what Klitschko fight did for Anthony Joshua. He showed heart and composure at the brink of defeat. It only makes me want to see Wilder and Joshua that much more. But Anthony Joshua has his own business to take care of." Now, that's well said by former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis, another big heavyweight, 6'5" guy, 6'4" guy who was dominant in his time. And he's absolutely right. We cannot overlook the fight that he has with Joseph Parker. Parker is a bad boy too, and we'll preview that fight in the next overtime segment. But DC, let's continue on with this matchup with Deontay Wilder. Wilder is, in my opinion, a champion. He was able to brutalize Ortiz, beating him down, punching him, bashing him, and Ortiz moved his head. He just could not
get everything right, man.
And that's what I was saying. If you heard one of our previous boxing reports that we did about the deceptive speed and power of Deontay Wilder. Right. Deontay Wilder is 6'7". He has an 83-inch arm length, and he can punch you from Kansas. And then with the point about it is, when he smelled blood in the water, he's very difficult. And another thing people don't realize about the fact that he can brutalize you because he has power in both fists, and especially in that right one, that he is a sneaky, accurate puncher.
Yeah, he is.
Very accurate. Nobody's talking about how accurate
weird angles that he comes from.
I told you, he can talk and punch you at weird angles, but then these weird angles that he punched from, he doesn't lose power, and he's accurate in punching you and hitting you. Then another thing is, he can punch through, and AJ can do the same thing. But Deontay Wilder will punch you, and you can have your guard up and punch you through your arms, and it won't have the same effect, but you'll feel it because he did it at least 3 times that I've seen with King Kong Ortiz.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one of those fights, man, where
I think it was more than 3, man.
Well, at least 3 is what I said.
He didn't hit him at all prior to that 5th round, and if you watch the fight, the first 5 rounds were boring.
They was trying to size each other.
Sizing each other, figuring it out. And once Deontay Wilder figured out
it was over
how to land that right hand on Ortiz by him being a southpaw, Deontay Wilder, I think this is the first southpaw he fought. But the first big right hand that he landed on Ortiz, it put him on the ground.
And Ortiz, to my knowledge, and I researched it, hadn't been on the mat in his professional career. So, but then again, he never fought a fighter like Wilder.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this, because Wilder's now 40-0 and 39. Okay?
39 knockouts, but it could easily be 40 because the guy that Stavern, he fought him again, and he beat the hell out of him.
That was the second time. The first time
it was a decision, but he did knock Stavern out the first round.
He should have got that knockout. Right, he should have got it.
And Stavern probably wouldn't have made the count from what it looked like to me, even though he got saved by the bell. So it could have easily been 40 and 40.
But with Deontay Wilder, we got 2 minutes left before we go out and go into break. But with saying that, Deontay Wilder's now 40-0 and 39. Retains his belt in his 7th title defense. He said in the post-game press conference, you can listen to it on the PRO Media Network YouTube page.
That's the same amount Anthony Joshua has, right? Doesn't he have 7 as well, title defenses?
I think it's like 6 or something like that. 6. But he should get his respect here. Now, before we go into break quickly, what's the next fight here if it's not Anthony Joshua?
For Deontay Wilder?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. I would say if Wilder doesn't want to fight him, he got to fight Parker. I got to take his leftovers, and I got to spice him up, season him, and beat it better than he did.
Well, I mean,
that's the only option. I mean, if you still want the Anthony Joshua fight, you gotta make him come for you. If I do Parker more dirty than you, how do you not fight me?
But we'll talk a little bit more boxing on the other side of the break. We'll talk a little bit more about Wilder, what's going ahead for Louis-Ortiz. We also have the Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker preview part 2 coming up as well on the other side of the break. Just hang with us. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guy. We'll be back.
You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
At the Posh Lifestyle, I go there for all my health needs. They offer great deals on organics, water filters, healing magnetics, healing crystals, clothing, books, DVDs, vitamins, and a lot more. They even have free shipping when you spend over $100 on most products. With secure online ordering, fast service, and great products, I save some money, and I'm improving my health doing it. It's a win-win. So do what I did. Go to shop.theposhlifestyle.com. That's shop.theposhlifestyle.com. That's shop.theposhlifestyle.com. So upgrade your lifestyle with the Posh Lifestyle and love what you do.
Let me tell you about a news site that carries the news that you would want to know. News that's not the same as the rest of lamestream media, but a site that lets you know about the most important news on health, economics, tech, entertainment, science, food, sports, world news, positive living, paradigm shift, and a lot more. Go to theposhreportonline.co.
To know who you are, you have to know where you come from. Honor and respect those who help pave the way, working hard, sacrificing, saving, and building a future for you and your family. We are One United Bank, America's largest black-owned bank, with offices in Boston, Los Angeles, and Miami. We invite you to join our effort in building economic power in America by opening an account at www.oneunited.com. Join the movement today and make your money matter for you and generations to come.
Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for Big Q and the guys.
Listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the best fucking sports podcast in the country.
Welcome back. You're listening to Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we're covering boxing in this fight. We're going into boxing more in depth in our overdrive section. We'll continue to talk. We'll finish out against the Deontay Wilder Louis-Ortiz bout. And then we'll cover Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. And then we'll talk about Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez, as Canelo Alvarez is tested dirty at a drug test. So we're going to see how that impacts the fight. Interesting, man.
That was going to be a good fight, too, man.
Right. But let's look at this, DC. Let's finish up in the Deontay Wilder fight. Now, before the break, you're saying that he has to, if he loses, Deontay Wilder's next bout should be Anthony Joshua, hands down. Right. Shouldn't be anybody else. So if Joshua
wins, it should be.
Well, if Anthony Joshua wins, who I think he will win,
gonna be the number 2 fighter in the world. Like, I mean,
you will want
what they want.
Right, you want to see 1 and 2. But
as probably the biggest heavyweight fight,
but as
in history,
just like with one of Deontay Wilder's promotion men came out and read a letter about Hearns being a guy that's pretty much ducking. They're trying to make as much money as they can make. They're ducking Deontay, and Deontay did say that in the post game fight conference, the post fight press conference, that he felt like the Joshua team were ducking him, that they wanted to try to make some money, and if they can't line up a matchup with Deontay Wilder, then they'll line up one with Big Baby Miller. So the people don't want to see Anthony Joshua fight Big Baby Miller. No disrespect to Big Baby.
Big Baby got a little more work to do, man. He got to go through
their
their leftovers.
Right, Big Baby ain't even the top 5 heavyweight.
He got to fight Ortiz. He got to fight Parker. He got to go through these guys that they going through.
Right, and I think that's just the other thing about it. Now, let's talk a little bit about Ortiz's future, because we know he's not going to retire. He'll be back at it and try to fight his way back up there once again.
I think Ortiz gonna have that Bernard Hopkins syndrome. You got to basically, for the times, you got to push him out the ring.
So he already looked like he old. But who is his next fight, do you think, in looking ahead for Ortiz and Ortiz fans out there?
I don't know at this point. I mean, it just depends on how long he wants to wait to recuperate, because he took some punishment against Deontay Wilder. So you got to look at how all that matches up with the different schedules. But I don't know who his next fight would be. I mean, he lost a title shot, so it's almost like you built the house, got your house all shiny and everything, and then tornado come through and just knock it down. Like, you got to start building it back up brick by brick again. So I think if the Anthony Joshua fight doesn't happen, it's a small possibility that him and Deontay Wilder could get a rematch. It was a good enough fight where I think you could give him another chance. I don't know if that would be smart on Deontay Wilder's part, because it was a close fight. Even though he put Ortiz on the mat 3 times, it was still kind of a close fight.
It wasn't close enough for you to want to see a second part. I mean, that was just. It wasn't. I'm sorry. He knocked him down multiple times.
He demolished him.
So you definitely don't want to see Ortiz get beat on again. And then it's the psychological advantage. Let him go out and fight somebody else. Let him go out and fight, because I do think Anthony Joshua and Parker makes sense. But I would like to see Ortiz and Parker if Parker doesn't win against Anthony Joshua. That's just my thinking on it. Okay, DC, let's move into our next fight preview. We got Anthony Joshua facing off against Joseph Parker, March the 31st, 2018 in Cardiff. And we want to see, we're going to preview this fight. This is the second time we're previewing it, by the way. We did a previous one when I was just by myself, when I just had the idea to say, let's do one. I know you have some thoughts that you want to throw in there, too, on this fight. You got, let me line them up first of all. You got Anthony Joshua, the number one heavyweight fighter in the world, carrying 3 belts, 3 championship belts, obviously into this bout, and he is 20-0 with 20 knockouts. He's from the United Kingdom. A lot of people in the U.S. don't know about Anthony Joshua, but trust me, by the end of this year, you're gonna know who Anthony Joshua is. Because Deontay Wilder and him definitely gonna get something done by the end of this year. Because
people ain't know about Lennox Lewis either until he magically jumped on the radar.
Right, you gonna know who Anthony Joshua is. If you don't know who Anthony Joshua is, you got a damn smartphone. Google his name, because this guy here is awesome. 20 knockouts, 20 fights, 20 knockouts. So everybody get in the ring get destroyed. Sound like somebody you might know from the United States. Not as many fights, being that Deontay has 20 more knockouts.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mike Tyson.
Man, knockout power, both hands, complete boxer.
That's who Anthony Joshua kind of reminds me of. I mean,
he does. And Mike Tyson,
in a way,
to a degree. Listen to the comments Mike Tyson made about him. Pretty interesting. Anyway, Anthony Joshua holds 3 belts. He's the IBO heavyweight title holder. He's a WBA Super World Heavyweight title holder, and he's the IBF, the International Boxing Federation World Heavyweight title holder. 3 belts he holds, and he is going up against Mr. Joseph Parker. Interesting guy here.
From New Zealand.
He's quite
probably the best boxer they ever had from New Zealand.
Probably so. Well, he knocked out an old man from down there.
That was messed up, man.
I can't. Francois Botha.
That fat guy with no hair.
Francois Botha. He knocked out Francois Botha.
Had him bleeding and stuff, man.
He knocked him out.
Man.
That was something bad.
It's
but
pretty bad.
Anthony Joshua going against Joseph Parker. This man's 24-0, 18 knockouts. So you got these big heavyweights. Joshua's 6'6" with an 83-inch reach, and then you got a guy like Joseph Parker who is 6'4" with a 76-inch reach. You got these big heavyweights And all of these guys is just exciting in heavyweight division now. With Ortiz, who was undefeated. You got Deontay, who's undefeated. You got Joshua, who's undefeated. Then you got Anthony Parker, who's 24-0, 18 knockouts. And this guy is like we say, he's from New Zealand. He's also a heavyweight title holder. He holds the WBO, the World Boxing Organization World Heavyweight title. So we have 4 belts in this fight alone between these guys. Right. By the end of the day, the 31st, that night, you'll have a guy holding 4 heavyweight belts. So 1 belt away from unifying the heavyweight division is definitely possible. And if you look at it, DC, I lined it all up as Parker, an excellent fighter as well, fought some really good boxers. With that said, what is your thinking on these 2 great fighters? Who comes out the winner?
I think this fight is going to be similar to the
I know you didn't get a chance to
Ortiz
speak your piece. Go ahead and
right.
speak it.
I think it's going to be similar to the Wilder-Ortiz fight. I think it's going to be an excellent fight. Parker is not a guy to really overlook. I mean, he's from New Zealand. Of course, us here in America, we don't hear a lot about these guys until they make it onto the radar. But if you follow his career, I mean, 24 fights, 18 knockouts. He don't had 100% knockout rate like Anthony Joshua, but
correct. That's
still very impressive. He fought some bums, and he's fought a lot of good fighters too. He actually has the sentiments of a champion. Evander Holyfield really likes Parker, and he's telling Anthony Joshua to not overlook him.
Right.
This guy is the real deal. And from what I see him, man, he has a very unique style. He's a traditional boxer. He's orthodox, but he can hit you with some type like weird angles. He tears people up with hooks. He coming with them hooks, man, trying to take your head off. He throws uppercuts in the whole 9. Like, he gets in and he goes to work. This guy throws combos and his shots are hard. So he ain't no little dude either. We talk about how big Anthony Joshua is, how menacing he is, as hard as punches is. Parker ain't nobody you want to overlook. So Anthony Joshua has a similar fight to what Deontay Wilder has. I don't think he's going to come in here and just stay clean the whole fight and look basically untouchable. If he does, it'll be pretty amazing. Then I'll have a whole nother line of respect for Anthony Joshua. But I think this is a fight that's actually going to challenge him, push him to think, push him to be cautious, and use that incredible skill as being a tactician that he is to use the sweet science. I think we're going to see some figuring each other out with these guys. Moving on into the middle rounds, you start to see the action pick up, and somebody gonna fall. This ain't gonna be no fight. I think that goes to the 12th round on the cards. Somebody's going down. It could be Anthony Joshua. We know he's hitting the mat before. It came from a champion, Vladimir Klitschko. But Parker is a guy that's capable in giving him a serious challenge and possibly putting him on the mat as well. So, in my opinion, I think Anthony Joshua wins this fight, and it's based on him what happens. It's all in his court and based on how he views the fight. If he comes out cocky and arrogant and tries to give the people a show, he could be in for a rude awakening. But if he uses that boxing mind that he has, I don't think that he loses this fight. But Parker, on the other hand, is a guy that could pull off the upset. He's a very impressive fighter when you follow his footage and his tape. I haven't seen a punch that he can't land. He has a nice size and reach to match Anthony Joshua, and he can take some shots as well. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. But I see Anthony Joshua winning this fight around the 8th round for a knockout.
I had called this fight before. You already seen my sentiment. I said, and I'm gonna stick to it, just like I said for the Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz fight, that they was going to beat him in a late round TKO situation.
Right.
In this fight, I'm gonna say the same thing because both these guys gonna get in there. They're gonna figure each other out.
Similar fight, man. It's very similar.
Both these guys gonna do the same thing, and I just if you look at it, I think about it, I said, you know what? I look at the resume of a guy like Joseph Parker, and I say to myself, Anthony Joshua is a far distance from Huey Fury, from Andy Ruiz Jr., from Alexander Dimitriko, which I actually like Alexander Dimitriko, the Russian heavyweights they got. He's a pretty good one, and he just kind of beat him up pretty good. So that's a far cry. And I'm going to give it to Anthony Joshua because I think Joshua punches are going to mount up on him. But I think eventually he's going to knock him out in the later round. So that's our calls on that fight, Parker versus Joshua. March the 31st, 2018. Y'all have it ready. Y'all have your popcorn ready because it's going to be another explosive heavyweight fight as well. And speaking of more heavyweight bouts, we're going to cover the Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G bout. We'll preview it on the other side of the break. We'll also give you some news that Canelo Alvarez tested dirty. We'll give you that news on the side of the break. Listen to the Sports Coma.
In a world of corporate propaganda, support the true independents, telling it like it is with no teleprompter. Go to www.theposhlifestyle.com, life spelled L-Y-F-E, and donate to keep independent media strong. Donate now.
What up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And I'm here to tell you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. The Posh, P-O-S-H, life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E, style.com. You can go there and get all of your natural and organic needs met. Herbs and supplements for all over the body, healing crystals, beautiful jewelry, ionizers, alkalizers, and water filters to take all of the fluoride, the chlorine, and all of the filth out of your water. They got personal products, natural soaps. They even got deodorant without aluminum in it that is known to cause cancer. Dig that. Also books and entertainment to educate yourself. And they have a lot of EMF protection and healing magnetics. Now, you know EMF, that helps. They have diodes you can place on your phone or on certain electrical gadgets that can neutralize the harmful EMF radiation. Dig that. All of that is on sale at theposhlifestyle.com. Dozens of products, easy to use website. I use it all the time. Very easy to use and very safe. Protected website. You can go there, feel safe and shop. I shop there all the time. You can go there and give us a donation. Anyway, go check them out. The Posh Lifestyle. Go to theposhlifestyle.com. Check them out. Poshlifestyle.com. Check them out. Get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Argue. The new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Valley. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, ggg-vs-alvarez. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, ggg-vs-alvarez. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the Pro Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Yo, and we back up in this piece. About to get into this boxing fight between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez got caught slipping over. Got his P dirty with some still gonna have a fight at this date, if it's gonna be pushed back, if they still gonna have a fight at all. The last fight ended in a draw. It was a very amazing fight. Everybody's looking forward to it, but just kind of throw a monkey wrench in the whole thing right here, man. The news is still fresh, and I was quite shocked. I didn't take Canelo Alvarez for a cheater. But I guess he was on his Malcolm X trying to win it by any means necessary, I guess. So I did what I had to do.
Well, what they're saying is, man, we're looking at portions of the letter presented, and they're blaming it on I want to say it's something pertaining to meat. They ate some meat that had something in it, perhaps.
Really?
And,
what do you eat? Human meat that had steroids in it? Like, what kind of meat was that?
Might have some bad hormones in it, perhaps. That's probably what they talk about. And
he got some meat with HGH in it, huh?
The urine specimen number 412
he ought to become 1793
contains clenbuterol and adverse urine specimen, and the numbers there contains clenbuterol. Now, this is going to be difficult. We don't know where this fight's not until May, so it's quite a distance before these two fighters see each other again. Looking at it now, Triple G, Golovkin is 37-0. He has one draw, 33 knockouts. Then you have, of course, Canelo Alvarez, 49-1 in 34 knockouts. He gets his first loss against Triple G. Right. Last year, and it'd be interesting. A lot of people, it was a good fight, man. I enjoyed the fight, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can continue this fight. Now, they're blaming it on a meat substance or whatever it was, and has shown up, let's see, and that's been a regular substance that's shown up pretty frequently, to be honest with you, man, and most Mexican athletes. So it could possibly be, we don't know what that is.
Tacos and burritos, you know?
Yeah, that genetically modified stuff, whatever's going on down there. But it's definitely a banned substance. This fight is set for May the 5th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And this is a huge fight. So we just going to have to monitor to see what happens here. Anyway, let's move forward and preview this fight like the fight is going to actually happen, because I don't think they might push it back. Or then again, they might not. I think they'll probably get through this and get ready and test him again, and he'll probably end up clean. All it is, okay, you got a bad test, let's test again and see what you got.
Right.
Clear it up. But anyway, like I said, this is part 2. Of course, Triple G won the first time around.
It was actually a draw.
Was it a draw? It was a draw.
It was a draw.
It was a draw.
He didn't win.
Yeah, I'm draw. So there we go. It's a draw.
Your eyes told you Triple G won, and a lot of people said the same thing.
Yeah, and that's
they called it a draw.
Well, I say Triple G won the fight.
Triple G was the aggressor. I think he landed slightly more punches, the whole 9. But he took some big old shots from Canelo.
Canelo's a powerful puncher.
Canelo was landing on him, but you know what I liked about it?
He could take a punch, though. Golovkin is not no bum. He don't have a weak chin.
Right.
And he
That's
can
what
dish
I like,
it
man.
and give. He could take it and give it.
Bro, I think that messed Canelo up, too, a little bit, because I remember one punch Canelo threw, that famous right hand he got. He popped him with it, bro. I mean, Triple G ate it and kept walking.
Right.
Like, wow.
Right. Golovkin is a
he didn't stun
dude,
him.
man.
He didn't even stop
guy.
him. He didn't even back him up. He took his best punch, and it didn't even back him up.
So let's look at this, though, DC. Let's preview the fight then like it's going to happen, because I still say it's going to happen. 49-1. Let's start with Canelo. He's 49-1-2. 34 knockouts. And he wants to come in here, and he wants to take the titles. He wants to be able to knock off Triple G, and it's gonna be strong. It's gonna be tougher than said, man, because you look at what Triple G is marching into this bout with his numbers, and like I said, Golovkin can talk his crap, but he can definitely back it up. He's 37-0, never been beat. He has that one draw, 33 knockouts, and like I said, and many people agree with me that Golovkin won that fight. He won that fight, and I was disappointed when they said it was a draw. That was some bull. Right. I think he outpointed him. He had more of those haymakers that landed. It just looked like Triple G should have won that fight At the least, it should have been a close win for Triple G. But, of course, that's what make boxing, people hate boxing so much, all the corrupt crap that goes into it with these lame-brain judges that be sitting there with these dumb calls. But anyway, let's get into the fight. I already laid out the standings about both fighters. I told you about Golovkin. I told you about Canelo. What happens in this bout on May the 5th, being that they can get past the drug crap?
Me personally, I think Triple G takes it this time just because the styles, they fit. Triple G is going to be the guy that comes in and he's looking for an opening, always constantly searching, looking. Canelo is a counter puncher. He's going to wait for you to make a mistake. Triple G, he makes a few mistakes, and he paid for him in the last fight. But if you watch the last time, me watching the whole fight, in my opinion, Triple G won the fight, but it wasn't by a large margin. Neither one of them hit the mat, so they had nothing to really separate them apart. They both were landing big power shots. But with a lot of rematches, if you watch boxing, somebody usually always wins the rematch dominantly if it was a very close fight the first time. And I'm going to say, just based on the styles and the fact that Triple G is going to be the aggressor. He's made mistakes last time. I think he's going to tighten his game up a little bit. And I think he takes out Canelo this go-round. Maybe he knocks him out.
Well, I think Triple G's, I'm going to just have to agree. I think Triple G beat him the first time around. I think he finishes him up this time. Canelo, he had a rude awakening in this fight because usually when he started punching on them other guys he's facing, they falling all around. But Canelo never met a fighter as imposing or who could take brutalization as Triple G.
He met Floyd Mayweather, and that ain't too good for him.
Well, I don't even consider that. Like Floyd's like a middleweight guard. So I don't really he's just on a whole another level. Now that would have been an entertaining fight. Triple G and Floyd. If Floyd ever thought about coming out for a payday instead of fighting a clown like McGregor, he could have put that on Triple G. But
McGregor started talking a lot. How
that was just some more exhibition crap.
Yeah,
that man never had a fight in his life.
Anyway,
we don't get into that. But
and Floyd was like, "Why not get an easy $200 million?"
But this is the thing. Canelo Alvarez, outside of Mayweather, of course, let's put that exemption there, has never fought. Now he has some good fighters that he fought. Canelo actually fought. Don't get me wrong. But when you start talking about Mayweather and you start getting on the level of guys like Triple G, who's going to go down as one of those really solid boxers, and right now the guy's undefeated. He got power in both hands. He could take a punch. He's solid fundamentally. And Canelo can't brutalize him. He can hit him with all these punches, and Golovkin's going to keep coming. So I just think Golovkin is finally going to be more assertive, and he's not going to leave it up to the judges to make this fight. He's going to try to put Canelo on his ass. And that's what it's going to come down to, in my royal opinion, of who's going to end up winning this fight. That's just me. DC, any takes on that?
Nah, actually, I'd be trying to look for something to argue about, but
ain't no argument on that.
I pretty much see it the same way with that one.
We called a couple of these fights good. We solid. We pay attention to boxing. We love boxing like we love basketball and we love football. But let me tell you something. This fight with Canelo and Triple G set up for May 5th. I think they're going to get past the drug test. Too much money put up on the stake for them not to get past that.
And the whole world going to be watching this fight. Everybody wanted to see this rematch. This was a very entertaining fight the first go-round, so I don't see any reason why it would be anything less than that the second go-round. It's the perfect styles. I really like the fact that one of the guys is a counterpuncher and the other one is really trying to get into you and get the work. So that creates an amazing fight every time. So it's going to be an entertaining fight. I don't think anybody's going to go out in the early rounds. They're going to get the punch on each other.
No, this late. This running late.
Right. They're going to get the punch on each other a little bit. Maybe a TKO type situation. Somebody gets cut, something like that. But I just don't see another rematch going to a draw, being a close fight.
No, if it
really
don't,
happens.
If it don't, they're going to tear up the arena.
Too much tape.
Right. So this, in the end, I say, like I said before, it's going to be a knockout late because with most solid fights, that's how I go. But I say Triple G going to put Canelo on his ass. If you disagree with me, or you agree with DC, or whatever, opposite, or vice versa, Post your
Disagree
comments.
with both of us.
Post your comments, man. Post your comments, and see. We'll see what you got to say. But anyway, that'll do it for our show. We thank you for joining us on the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guy. We covered a lot of ground today. Thank you for joining us on the show. I hope you share with your family and friends and like us. Go join our social media networks as well, Facebook, Twitter. Join them because we blast out all the latest Saints and Pelican news, as well as all the latest college news and boxing news as well. Also, if you like the show and we entertain you, donate to the show, man. Help us out. We buy better microphones, what have you, whatever we need at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. So from DC and myself, peace.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. And support the true independent artists.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the poshlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into the poshlifestyle.com. Once again, that is the poshlifestyle.com.
Check out the Crown They Ass World podcast with three kings covering all the news and issues that affect you and the ones you care about. Only on the PRO Media Network.